All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started with this week's broad market analysis. What a great week last week. I had an amazing time and we closed it off with plus 740% on our SPX trade whilst we were out doing what we love to do. And for me, that meant hanging out with my family. We were out watching the Blue Angels. You guys could have saw that on Twitter. I posted some video footage. It was great. I mean, we spent a lot of time in the sun, but to be very honest with you, we are ready to buckle down, just kind of hang out and spend some time around our pool this week. Today is a very special day for me. It's my wife's birthday, and so we'll be celebrating that probably the whole month of July, starting today. And so it's a very busy week, and I hope that you all have had a special and amazing weekend. Let's go ahead and get started with our broad market analysis. So the first thing I'm going to tell you right off the bat is that we have a full day, which is a blessing. I absolutely love that to be able to spend all 5 days here trading with you folks. We are starting off earnings, and that's right, bank earnings. And I feel like this was just like yesterday. This is Christmas time for me. This means we are ramping up for another earnings season. And this Friday, we started off with JP Morgan, United Health Group, Citi Financial, Wells Fargo, BlackRock. And on Thursday, a couple names that I'm interested in, Delta, PepsiCo, and that's pretty much it for the whole entire week, far as my interests go. Okay. So again, I love that we're starting here with banks on Friday. That just lets me know that we're getting ready for that earnings season. Next thing I'm going to show you here is Market Watch. This is all free information that I get off of the internet. And you can see Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here. Remember, for us here at Trendy Trading Methodology, we are paying attention to news, but we don't watch news. We understand that it is a catalyst that pushes price into the predetermined levels that I am teaching you how to execute. Notice on Monday, wholesale inventories, we have Fed Vice Chair Barr speaks, Fed President Daly, Fed President Mester, and basically you have talking heads on Monday with consumer credit coming out at 3 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, pretty quiet NFIB Optimism Index. Wednesday, core CPI. And then you can see down here some more Fed heads talking. And then we had the Fed Beige Book on Wednesday. Thursday, initial jobless claims to kick off. PPI. So this should be a really interesting and fun day. All of these days will be. Friday, import price index minus fuel, and then consumer sentiment. Let's go ahead and get to the next chart here. This is our SPY and QQQ results from last week if you were taking the neutral strategy. I did a video on Friday. Don't forget to check those out. They're on your dashboard here at Simpler Trading. And you will see that we had a great week. And matter of fact, Melissa had a great trade off of the QQQ neutral strategy this week where she went puts inside the neutral and she covered down here, making a very solid, I think, 140% or so on those puts. But one thing that I want to point out to you guys is that we got the trigger short. You hit the targets. You can see that. And most importantly, though, we came very close to and hit the inside and up formation there. And we talked about this the previous week. And you can see that support did come in at that area. Just showing you that proof of concept, just using a very straightforward methodology. QQQ, notice that we did pop here. But the point of the 2 weeks ago is that we were entering supply, so you always want to be careful. We talked about the bigger picture, us hitting 371 and some change. We did that. You can see that right there. And once we did, we came into resistance. We did pull back. It did give you the short trigger. And again, Melissa showing you guys how to do that. And then we came down into our lower target. We didn't quite touch it, but that's okay. We're not mad. And then we never did get back over the neutral strategy. And we ended up coming down on Friday. But once again, like 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, we're closing right at support on Friday. So I'm really interested in see what happens here. My technical analysis says that we will have a relief bounce on the open tonight. But again, if it doesn't happen, nobody's mad, right? We'll just kind of play it as we see it. And we'll talk about it in the futures, okay? So I'll get to futures here towards the end of this broad market analysis. Going on in, this is our new SPY and QQQ neutral strategy. Please take a picture, annotate the levels. A few things that I want to point out here is that once again, we have the demand here. You can see that we tested it right there. Price came down into that demand area. We pushed up into a 30-minute to 1 hour supply zone. We came back down. And again, coming right down into a little bit of support. So I'm really interested to see where we are tomorrow. Over here on QQQ, same thing. We just came into an inside and down formation. You guys can see that, but it wasn't the first time tested. It was actually 2 times that we tested this. So we could, again, if we end up bouncing and getting over the 4 hour cloud, once again, I think we head back up to new highs. I really do. But until then, my overall sentiment is sideways to down. So price discovery until prices can at least start to move over the neutral strategy and over those EMA clouds on your 4 hour chart. If you can't see those, we can zoom in. You can see the top of the clouds right here at around 441 plus. And then over here on Qs, again, just need to get over that 368 level. Over here on the bigger picture for SPY, I put some notes in here. Inside week and was supported at 437 as I suggested the week before. Expect more price discovery, like I was just saying, until $430 or until the last quarter high is taken out. And basically, all I'm saying is last quarter we made a high there. If we end up taking out that high, then we continue to move up towards those upper targets that we talked about in the past. But for right now, sideways to down with a potential relief bounce tonight on the open. And we'll coach it in the morning. On QQQ, your update 7.9. The first target of 371 plus was hit. And if you notice, if we go back to last week's notes, we were looking for 371 to 375. 362 is your support. We were a holiday week. It was pretty short. It was sweet. It was fun. As far as today goes, again, now I expect some price discovery. Sorry, this week. Possible 362. In that area, okay, 362. Unless price holds 3+ days over the 371, I'll feel really good about the move to the upside. Again, overall sentiment is sideways to down. Potential relief bounce tonight and into potentially tomorrow's open, okay? But please stay tuned and be there and be focused and ready because we'll have a trade plan that gets us on the right side there. All right, the dollar, not much to say here. I did not put an update because the same numbers are still relevant. The warning above 105, bullish below 101. Right now, it's just kind of choppy. I find it interesting that the dollar sold off, and so did the market right at the end of the day. It makes me feel like it was kind of, what was it? End of a holiday week. Probably not a whole lot of volume to speak of. Maybe just a scare tactic. We'll see. But one thing I will say is that the dollar is coming into support, and we could see a rounding bottom in the support of the dollar, and the market continue to pull back. And as I suggested, possible sideways to down this week. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and get into the ES futures. Very important. We hit that supply. This is the same weekly blueprint that we've been using. You can see that the immediate support of 4444 was broken. We're just below that. But again, if we happen to open up tonight and we get that relief bounce, let that 4,444 be your support. Okay, if we end up gapping down, then that's going to be basically your line in the sand for the week. If we stay under that, expect it to come down into 43.88, possibly 43.40, 35, somewhere in there. Okay. All right, moving on. This is your daily. Notice that we have a short trigger up here around the trendy edge. There's also, if you go on a smaller time frame, a little bit of a inside and down formations there. You'll see that on the lower time frame here in a second. We have a resistance at 4,461, and my buy triggers are 4404 by 4382. And again, using that TTM Squeeze Pro to really help us at these levels once we get there. Over here, this is your 4 hour. I have annotated. I've drawn circles for you so you guys can see why I'm highlighting this area. This is a 4 hour inside and down. This is not a fresh level. We have tested it. Also down here, this is not a fresh demand zone. We have tested it. You can see also your immediate support is right there. So you could draw a line there if you like. But anyways, I would expect buyers to show up in the green, and I would expect this to continue to be resistance until we could build value above these levels. Now, I did throw in something a little extra. We have 1 hour charts tonight that I would like to use for our futures for the open tonight. And on this 1 hour chart, you're going to see that we have an inside and down formation, very easy for you to spot. I went ahead and circled it, and you can see we have an inside and up formation right there. We have already tested this inside and up. It's worked really well. I just want to show you the proof of concept, but this zone is new. So if we get that relief bounce, I expect resistance at 4453 by 4448. If for some reason we open up above there tomorrow morning and we're approaching this zone, be careful on the open as we would be opening into resistance. If for some reason we gap down, all right, and it looks something like this, but we're not taking out these lows, I'd be looking at buying a relief bounce on the open. But once again, please tune in 30 minutes before the open so I can speak to you about that. And over here, let's get to the NASDAQ. I wanted to go over this really quick. This was our daily from last week, and I just want to show you how well it worked. Resistance worked very, very well. And notice that we closed or stopped right at the trigger long for last week. So again, this is really making me feel as if we bounced tonight on the open. And I just wanted to show you that really fast before we get into the new charts. So right here, we have the NASDAQ weekly. Nothing's changed here. We're inside the supply zone. Many people will identify this as a flag. However you look at it, it's consolidating in a supply zone. And for right now, your immediate support is 14,848. I think if we start breaking down below that, I would be concerned because we'd be breaking down below the 9 EMA. We'd be getting into the bull channel. As far as like this week, though, I wouldn't expect the NASDAQ to close under this bull channel, and I wouldn't expect us to get over this level. So these are a little bit longer time frame levels. So if you're thinking about iron condors and stuff like that, these are the levels that I would expect to hold going into this week. Going next into the daily, this is our new daily levels. Notice that put the resistance here at 15,392. Your trigger long is 15,158. Trigger long, 14,877. Short trigger, I'm going to leave it way up here because I want to stay bullish again, even though I say sideways to down. I'm just looking for a little bit of price discovery, a little bit more of a patient market where, traders who might have missed out or are not patient, it's a good time to build liquidity in the market for that next leg up. And so again, just want to stay patient. And again, if we get to these levels, let's go to a smaller time frame, use our TTM Squeeze Pro. And again, if you don't know how to do that, just tune in the morning, ask me some questions. I'll be happy to help you with that. Moving on, this is the 4-hour NASDAQ. I went ahead and circled the areas that I'm interested in and why we created these zones around those areas. Again, resistance up here. This is not a new level. Support down here. This is not a new level. You can see both of them have been tested. As far as tonight goes, this is the 1 hour. Notice that 15,316 by 363 is supply, and you can see that by looking at the 1 hour inside and down. And over here, we have the inside and up. This is from last week. We came back into that. We pushed up like we had expected. And we do have liquidity chop zones. I put that on the ES and the NASDAQ for tonight on the 1 hour. If you have any questions, just let me know. Just trade the levels. Over here we have the skew. This bad boy basically came in at around 148. Again, it's extreme, and I want to be cautious. I made a note to myself this week to be cautious from a standpoint of try not to overtrade, try to do a few trades until we can start to see prices either fall dramatically into higher time frame demand zones, or we just end up taking out the previous highs that we had already created in 2023 in the market. Now over here, we have the fear and greed index. It's come down just a little bit. It's still extremely greedy. We're at 78. Again, the majority of participants are, according to this, we're being extremely greedy, right? And the market can pull back at any time. Basically, most of your participants are on the long side, so just be aware of that. It's just a tool that kind of helps us. Now, my big thing going into this week is I want to talk about oil. I didn't give you guys a chart, but you can see that we bounced up, and one of my thoughts here, and you guys know we were long and bullish here several days ago, um, and everything's working out. By the way, this was an ACDC that has played out very, very nicely. Matter of fact, when I gave you the clue to go long, we're about right there. And you can see we're very close to the trendy edge up here. So this is almost played out. If we gap up tonight and we hit around 74, 12 by 74 and a quarter, just be cautious. We could pull back. Nice digestion would be at around 73 and a quarter by 72 and a half. If we get into that area, I'd be looking to go long again. The bigger time frame though is what I'm interested in. I like to see oil push up back to the 200 SMA. If I were interested, which I am in oil, let's look at some stocks this week that are centered around oil. The big question will be is, if it gets over the edge and starts to hold, I really want to pay attention to oil stocks. I also want to be paying attention to bank stocks because we're gearing up for that on Friday. So it could be like fun intraday trades and my favorites like BAC, JPM, Goldman Sachs. We are going from red to white to green. We have our trendy blue histogram here. Things are looking pretty good as far as oil is concerned. And over here on the weekly, though, it says, well, I know you look great on the smaller time frames, but you are into resistance. And I just said that we got to see if we can get over the trendy edge. Okay. So again, we'll tune in. We'll talk about this next, tomorrow. And I'll bring up some stocks around it that we can be paying attention to. I really hope you guys have a wonderful day. I can't wait to trade with you. If you have any questions, please reach out. Have a great day.